episode. Or is it? Who was it that was saying last time that they didn't get a notification?
Shit. Was it Mark?
Might have been Isaac, actually. Okay. Hello, Scott. Scott! It's going to be covered, Tom. Don't you worry. It's actually the first bullet point in the notes.
This way.
It is your toast, right?
I think so. I don't know. I'll think of something.
Maybe it's not. Hold on. Now that I think about it.
It probably is.
Yes, it is. Okay. I'm not as stupid as I look.
You have a toast tracker over there?
I just looked at last week's notes.
No, fair enough.
That's why I write it now, too, by the way, so he knows. So we're like, who the fuck was the toast last?
Well, that's what the audience is for. Next month is football. Indeed. Right. Yeah. We're in the waning weeks of not having football.
Yeah. Tom posted a great meme, by the way. It was some sort of celebratory thing. Like, yes, it's the last month of no football, you know?
So. All right. Yeah, I know. My antivirus expired. For fuck's sake.
You don't really need that.
Honestly, I'd rather not pay McAfee because I feel like McAfee's part of the problem with some of this shit. I don't trust them anymore. Kind of that too big to fail concept.
Right.
Or I just have trust issues in general, which is probably closer to the truth.
I could see that. All right.
Yeah.
Don't have my watch. Yeah, it's your toast. You can track it. You got to watch. So we already tested the sound. Hey, if I start coming in weak again, just like get my attention somehow. Post a bunch of like flashy stuff in the chat so I actually look over and see. Because I noticed last audio episode that actually aired, it did get quiet. And some people were saying something in the chat, but I didn't notice until way later.
Which one is the fucking stopwatch?
It's an orange icon. I think it's like actually got like a picture of a stopwatch on it.
Oh, there it is. All right. All right. You're always coming in weak but readable.
Fuck. You're always coming in weak. Oh, he's...
Yeah.
Good one.
All right. All right. Let's go. 36.
This is why he doesn't do this.
30 seconds silence starting meow. To America.
America. Fuck yeah.
Did we tape? Have we taped since the 4th of July?
I don't think we have. So yeah, we totally missed the independence of the greatest nation on the planet.
Fucking ain't right.
So yes, happy birthday, America.
Yeah, that's that's all I had. I'm like, I should be thinking of something right now, and I can't. So just.
I loved when we started, and then 30 seconds of silence stopped, and then you just looked up like.
It's like, I'm so tired. I'm so very, very tired.
And I'm sure we will get there. But until then, hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you? Besides tired.
I'm here. I am excited
Yeah.
Because we're going to get to talk about new Star Wars stuff
See.
as 3PO. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so tired. It's like usual, right? So it'll take me, some time to finally ramp up, and then have all this energy, and then like we'll be done.
Right.
So.
And I mean,
I'll be like a flat tire here for the first few minutes.
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Doesn't help that we haven't recorded here in a couple of weeks. And for those of you watching on the YouTube, it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded. Those of you listening to the audio, it's going to be an even bigger gap. And the question you're going to be asking is, why the fuck is it taking so long for these guys to release audio episodes? So as we mentioned, this is like 2 or 3 episodes ago now, the impending budget cuts at the Roscom household. Well, they have taken effect. And unfortunately, I've had to drop tons of monthly things that I had going, from fucking Amazon Music to my Apple Music, my Old Republic, my Marvel Unlimited, my gym membership, all kinds of stuff. And unfortunately, part of that was also the hosting service for the podcast.
Right.
So,
which I was supposed to log in and convert it over to my credit card, and I did not.
Right. So unfortunately, that being the case, I had to drop us down to like their lowest tier plan. Unfortunately, that has a megabytes per month limit on it. So with as long as these episodes go, even if I drop the audio quality down pretty far, it's still a limited a number of episodes we can release per month, as is right now. So that's why there haven't been any episodes in a couple of weeks, again, for you audio listeners. Well, of course, you will have gotten the new episodes by the time you listen to this. So remember like 3 weeks ago when, there was a big gap for you audio listeners? Well, this is why. We're now finally explaining this away.
Tom's already called you out for saying each and every single week, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a script. We're sticking to it.
And we were really good for like 108 episodes.
Yeah.
And then that's when things kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
But I digress. So this kind of brings us back to a discussion we've had before. I think it was that same episode where we were talking about possibly doing a Patreon or something.
Right.
And I'm thinking that might have to be our plan A from here, just because, like I said, if you guys want audio episodes every single week the way they've been before, it's just unfortunately not sustainable on my budget at this point.
Right.
So we might have to, and I hate asking for money. Trust me, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I love you guys and I love giving this to you for free, but at the same time, there are costs involved.
There is. And unfortunately, retired guy is we'll get into what, like, my budgetary constraints here in a minute.
Yeah. So, you've got a big red mark in the Martin family budget right now.
Several.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. I think by next episode, we're probably going to have some details hammered out. And for those of you who actually do want to support us, there will be perks. So I've already thought of a few, and we've brainstormed a couple between the two of us. So there will be benefits to being a patron, even if you're like in the $1 tier. If you only want to give us $1 a month, which is fine. And really all we need to like maintain the show at where we've been is like $30 a month. So if we could get like 15 people to give us $2 a month, that's all we need. So do that. Yes. So
do that.
Stay tuned and we'll get you more details on that. But that's why there's been a big disparity with the audio being released, and then of course busyness is why the recording schedule kind of got jacked up again this last.
Scott mentioned something about checking out Anchor.
I have not. Thank you for the reminder, though. He messaged me right after we recorded last episode about that, and then I'm like, "Ooh, that sounds good." And then I went to bed and completely forgot about it. So, because Mondays are bad for me. That's the thing, because I never get any sleep on Sunday night, and last night was the same.
Yeah.
And I just I forget things, and you know how it goes. More on that to follow.
All right.
We had a little bit of news. Surprisingly, in the last couple of weeks that we haven't recorded, not a whole lot of news coming out. I mean, the big thing right now, besides the main thing that we're going to talk about today, be it the Sith Trooper and all that.
Mm-hmm. Did you ask me what we're talking about this week?
What are we talking about this week?
The Sith Trooper sits in current canon versus Legends.
Okay. And they probably would have guessed that by the title.
Probably.
So anyway.
But the Sith Trooper is what's spurring us on, because Fuck yeah.
Yes,
It's very exciting.
But that's going to be part of our main topic, so we're not going to talk about him until we get there. In the meantime, next week,
Thrawn.
Yes. So
there will be all of the I don't know. I haven't decided whether I'm going to get the book itself or do the audiobook.
Yeah.
I'm at that. It's funny, like the audiobook is now, listening to books has gotten to the same point where we're reading books, where I do it in spurts.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need to take a break from it.
Yeah.
So I'm in that period right now, even with the audiobooks. I started
to take a break from it.
Yeah, it's very odd, you know, because I thought driving back and forth on vacation over the 4th of July, I'd be like, oh, I'll pop my earbuds in and I'll be able to listen to the book. And it didn't happen. I couldn't, like, I don't know.
I'm sure it doesn't help when you have other people in the car.
Well, I mean, they're not kids, you know, like we had Kate with us, but like she's entertaining herself and my wife was reading her Kindle. So like I could have very easily have done it. I just didn't feel like it. I get like that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, when you're
sometimes
driving,
it's like that.
When you're driving, it's nice to just put on some music and just kind of zone out.
And that's what I did for the majority of it.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, with an audiobook, you do have to kind of listen and pay attention.
Which is why I like listening to it on the drive home from work, because it helps like stimulate me and keep me a little bit more awake. But driving to work, I'm too much of a fucking zombie to actually absorb any type of material.
Yeah.
So even though it's an hour each way, it's still only an hour of listening time that I'm actually doing. And I can't do it at work at all because I just can't. I can't focus on. I'd start typing shit into formates like that are straight out of the book, and that would just be nobody needs any Star Wars references on their fucking flight evaluation documentation.
Yeah, well, and I've had that issue. When driving, listening to an audiobook, and then trying to do like chores and shit around the house while listening, I'll get so into doing something or something won't be going right, and be like, fucking goddamn thing won't do this, and then it's like, oh, I missed like 2 minutes of the book. I can rewind. I don't remember. He said it went into my ear, but it just didn't process.
Yeah, exactly. It's a radio operator thing, man. We did that shit for so many years, and now it's like, if our call sign isn't called out, you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening for pertinent information, but not all that information happens to be pertinent.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple times with the Dooku book, where I'm like, oh shit, what the hell did he say over the last 5 minutes? But go back.
What's this fucking bitch complaining about?
Yeah. So I will say though, for me, I'm definitely getting the audiobook without question.
Yeah, I have a credit in Audible. I think that I'll be able to burn on it. So I probably will do the same. But since I have the other 2 books in hardcover already, I probably would still get the hardcover. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We have to add its distinctiveness to the rest of the sacred text.
The sacred Jedi text. Oh, speaking of which, I'm still mad because of last year. So the San Diego Comic-Con is in another week or 2.
Right.
And they're going to have another exclusive cover for the Thrawn book for the Comic-Con. And I'm still mad that nobody got me the one from last year.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Be angry.
And now there's a new one.
That's what I do.
Use your anger.
Yeah, we're gonna get angry at them and then ask them for money. Yeah, good job, Jason.
That's how we treat our listeners. That's what we do.
Obviously.
So speaking of conventions and things like that, the D23 Expo, which we briefly touched on here and there because they've announced Star Wars stuff, is coming in towards the end of August, and it's been confirmed on StarWars.com that they're going to have a sneak peek of the Mandalorian there. So probably going to see some new footage, probably going to get some new details, and
no, we don't have any indications that they're showing anything at Comic-Con, right?
No, I haven't heard anything as far as any Star Wars.
You got some toy release stuff, and then other than that, I haven't heard anything.
No. And like, I know a lot of movie studios are starting to forego the San Diego Comic-Con. They're like, all right, this is too much. We're not doing this.
It is a lot. You figure that because they have to do the regular press junket, and then the Comic-Con's become so big that it's almost like, unless you really, really need that level of press, which Disney doesn't necessarily need it. You know,
plus Disney, they've got their own expo the next month.
Exactly.
So why buy the cow when you get the sex for free? Something like that.
Yes, that's exactly right. 6 points for Jason.
Yes. So keep an ear open for that. Don't know what else Star Wars related is going to come out of that D23 Expo, but we do have that coming. Another interesting piece of news that came out. So we've talked about Galaxy's Edge, the part of both the Disneyland and Disney World theme park.
Right.
That's that has already released in California and is releasing next month in Florida, Walt Disney World. I always assumed that the two major rides were going to open with this park on opening day because they were talking up this Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run,
Right.
and then the Rise of the Resistance. Well, I guess the Rise of the Resistance never opened in Disneyland.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and it's not going to open in Florida until December. And then they just announced now that the one at Disneyland in California isn't opening until January of 20.
Wonder if they had a hang up with the... I mean, is it a ride or
Yeah. And allegedly it's the most sophisticated ride any Disney park has ever seen. Is the exact verbiage from whatever source.
With such level of sophistication, I guess, comes problems at the end of the day.
But at the same time, then it's like, well, right now Galaxy's Edge has one fucking ride, and that's that Millennium Falcon ride. And I can kind of understand why attendance is actually down right now at Disneyland because
they stole all the things that can be stolen.
Yeah.
Everything that was locked down, tied down is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing to steal. The novelty probably of getting a Diet Coke with Aurebesh on it has been lost now.
For the locals.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's one fucking ride in that section of the park. Do they really think that just the Star Wars setting, and not the fact that it's Star Wars, but it's Star Wars on a new planet with totally different settings, except for the Millennium Falcon that's like right there in the fucking center, and then the one Millennium Falcon ride. Everything else is all kind of new. Yes, it's set in the Star Wars universe, but are your casual park goers really going to give a shit when there's no rides over there?
See, here's the thing, you're a Disneyland guy, right? Because you grew up going to Disneyland and it's always kind of that's your wheelhouse.
The whole place is very special for me and the family.
So I've been to Disney World several times.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been, honestly, last time I was in Disneyland, I was probably a toddler. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't remember that bullshit. Jaws was new the last time I was there. So that
was Universal Studios.
Still, that's the time frame we're talking about here.
Yeah. And that was a long time ago.
So I have a feeling that we probably made too much of the release of Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. Like
we, the
collective
okay,
as Star Wars fans, because we were we're so excited. We know that we knew that it was Disneyland, right? But it's one of those things like, all right, we're going to package something up and we're going to talk about like what's, there's going to be this ride, there's going to be this attraction, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they also incorporated the stuff that's going to be in Disney World when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be Disney World, it's going to be later. However, we're opening this now. It's like, okay, the Disney World stuff is probably where it's going to be at. I mean, it's going to be much larger.
Yep.
They're going to have the hotel experience and everything else. So I really feel like I don't know if they advertised it to a point where we were led to believe something was going to be bigger than it is.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, what they should have done, or it's all on us. I really feel like it's all on us as the fan.
Okay.
Like we were expecting so much of it. And then once the glitter, stops falling, then it's like, oh, wow. All right. This is just an exhibit basically.
Yeah.
In Disneyland.
Yeah.
Whereas the tits are going to be in Disney World. Because they have the room, they have the space for it. Obviously, I mean, there's only but so much acreage that they can build into in Disneyland.
Yeah.
So you're limited in your scope.
Yeah. In fact, they had to buy some surrounding property just to get the rest of the land they needed for Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. So,
and I think too, looking forward, there's a lot of kinetic rides. I think that you would be going towards or going away from. Whereas what I'm talking about is like large tracked attractions.
Yeah.
Have you been on a Transformers ride?
No.
The one that's in Universal?
No.
It's basically, none of it's outdoors. Like you go in, you sit in a car, and it is track based, but there's all this level of interaction and animatronics and screen and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it was a good ride.
Yeah.
I can see rides going to that. So you don't have this big outdoor footprint. You don't have this big track mechanism. Like you can get multiple people on the ride and they can each have an individual experience as it's going along. It's kind of like Winnie the Pooh blown up into, a full CGI animatronic. How you doing?
Nice.
And maybe that's what they're looking at. It's like, okay, so we get a ride experience that's, more condensed and we can fit it into a smaller space. then maybe Galaxy's Edge gets bigger at some point.
Yeah, and I always imagined they were going to add to it over time. I don't know how much space they really have to add to the California version. Florida, I would imagine they build in some sort of caveat so they can add more sections.
I mean, it's all in the swamp, right? So it's
Yeah.
how much of the swamp you're going to take up, and
Yeah.
you know, when the Toy Story hype dies down, like how much Star Wars is going to creep over to that, because I guess Toy Story is the big in Magic Studios or whatever,
Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, they like Toy Story is now like a real big thing over there, and in the one section, and I guess in the Galaxy's Edge stuff was over on another side. It took over another part of the park.
Yeah. Sidebar. Did we talk about Toy Story 4 last episode?
No, we didn't.
Okay, because I saw Toy Story 4. Did you?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I'll save that for my week then.
I'm debating on whether I want to see it or not.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that.
I completely forgot about that. All right. So yeah, it's interesting the fact that they only have one ride right now, and the second one has been delayed to the very end of the year for Florida and the beginning of next year for California. It's kind of a shame, and hopefully over time that again they build on Galaxy's Edge, because I want it to be good, especially when I get my house in Anaheim and I can just like go over for the night after work, a couple of days a week, and just go into the park and spend a couple hours.
It's a huge investment, and I can't imagine them not at some point, maybe even including a hotel experience. Maybe they can pull that off based on the success of what's going to happen in Florida.
Yeah, because down in Florida they have huge
tracts of land.
Great reference.
That's never mind. I'm not even gonna bring it up.
So all right,
it's actually one of my cousin's Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little awkward. I'm gonna be honest.
Male cousin or female cousin?
Female cousin.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
What's her name?
No, I'm not telling you.
No, just give me her username.
No, Jason. No.
Whatever.
Bad Jason.
Anyway, any more that you have to say about any of this recent Star Wars news?
No, let's get into our weeks, because I got a lot of stuff.
Okay, yeah. Overall, not a whole lot of news lately, despite the fact that we haven't recorded in a while. So fuck it. Moving on to our weeks. I guess I'll start unless you.
Yes, you start.
All right. So we say this a lot on the show, and I have to say it again. Fuck cancer. Good friend of mine. Yeah, and I meant to wear my fucking All Things Star Wars shirt with the fuck cancer on the back that Big Lovin made for us. It's the light in my closet is broken, and I couldn't see anything, and I'm, I had to fucking rush to get out of here. So anyway, it's
a better excuse than I had, because I was been wearing too much of one color, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So you got to coordinate.
Yeah, you gotta be mindful of how you look.
Exactly.
I can certainly respect that. But yeah, cancer strikes again. Really good friend of mine. She just lost her mother last week to cancer, and the shitty thing about this is it was is stage 4, the one where it just like starts spreading everywhere, and like you're pretty much done at that point. Yeah, she had it started in one place, quickly spread, became stage 4, and they said, there's nothing we can do. But the worst part about that is they discovered this in October, I want to say, and she just now passed last week, and the last 4 or 5 months were absolute misery for this woman. And she even mentioned to my friend how she wishes she could just quickly
just go
end things,
but
laws being what they are, you can't do that. And just the fact that you have to live the last several months of your life in just like pain and just discomfort and just I'm not even going to get into all of the things that were described to me that she went through.
Oh, believe me, I've seen it.
And it's like, fuck, man.
Yep.
It's the worst. And
yeah.
I really don't have much else to say.
Yeah.
It's just,
fuck cancer.
Yeah. Cause that's something I've been dealing with a lot over the last week. We had a medical emergency here at the Roscoe household over this last weekend, which I've told you a little bit about, but I figured, fuck it, I'll go into a little bit more detail here.
Yeah.
So my some members of my wife's family were here, and we were in my backyard, and one of the older members of the family had an episode where he just like completely like collapsed, passed out, face first onto the concrete on my back porch. The thing about this was nobody else was back there. He was out there by himself. doing some kind of like work and stuff around. And thank God one of my sons kind of heard what happened, because they went out and checked on him and ran back into the house and got us. So it's funny. They yell. I run out there. I see him laying on the ground, and the first thing I'm thinking is, oh fuck, like, is he dead? Because I look over and he's laying face first on the concrete, and I can see his eyes are open, and he's not moving a muscle. I'm like about to flip him over and start CPR right then and there, but then he says something, so I'm like, oh shit, thank God. Okay, so and then I immediately go into self-aid buddy care mode. It's so funny the way it worked, because I immediately get a lay of the land. Okay, what happened? Where does it hurt? Can you can you move your extremities? What's going on? All right. And I didn't want to move him because, potential neck or back injury. So I'm like, all right, stay here. And, I grabbed the wife, you get on the phone, get an ambulance, you go get his wife. Sent one kid to do one thing. I'm kind of clearing a space in the back. He didn't have a shirt on, so he was laying in the direct sunlight. So I go in, I get a sheet, cover him up, because you don't want him to get fucking
right.
All burned up from the sun and everything else, especially if it was like heat exhaustion. So, and I'm like pointing people in different directions. I'm kind of commanding the ship. I go get him a wet towel, and so kind of cool off his head. Turns out he was suffering from heat exhaustion and dehydration. Ambulance came, EMTs took him, and they cleaned him up, and he's fine now. But after the fact, I got comments from both Kristen and my mother-in-law about just like how crazy it was just watching me just immediately go into, command and control mode and just fucking like totally handle the situation, no panic whatsoever, directing traffic and just, handling it like a professional, I guess. And I didn't even think about it at the time. And that's the thing. Like, none of this dawned on me until they actually said something. And I'm like, yeah, I guess maybe a normal person wouldn't, be that, calm and methodical and, 23 years of military training where they teach you exactly how to respond to any kind of medical incident.
Well, I can tell you this right now, that there's a difference between, I think it's not the 23 years of the medical training that the CBTs that we click through. Yeah. I don't think it's that. We benefit from the Air Force in general, right? So the Air Force is going to a lot of computer-based shit. Yeah. But we started in the military when you did no shit exercises and you went into these group casualty things, and you had to do all this stuff. Like, you had to perform it in an exercise scenario where you were doing it real time. So like people falling out and doing shit like that, you had to be able to react, and you were being graded on it. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of drifted away from that in the Air Force, and now they're, it's computer based, and they'll do, what the fuck did I call it? Like, not ready time training, but basically it's like as they're getting ready to deploy or something like that, they'll do the training just in time. Thank you. So they've gone to something like that. And while that was happening, we were still getting our flight attendant training, because we had to do all the basically the CPR, the AED shit. We had a full day of just doing like first aid in that scenario. Like, if you're in a fucking airplane and somebody could be having a stroke or have an aneurysm or something like that, then fuck you. You got to be able to react. It was part of our job. Yeah. So I'll credit that to like your response, and being able to do that is more from all of our emergency training for flying, as opposed to just the general Air Force shit. Because I've watched dudes completely lock up. Regular guys that go out there in the self-aid buddy care, like, oh yeah, we can do this, and then somebody for real falls out and they can't fucking think for themselves. Really? So it's a credit to you to be able to like roll into that, whereas there's some people that just can't do that. Yeah,
and it's like I said, none of it I had to think twice about. It was just I immediately went into action, and I knew exactly what to do before I even did it. And it was crazy, because again, I didn't think about it until after the fact. When she mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that does kind of make sense.
Hey, so shit has to get done, then you fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's right. Go out there and do your bit.
And so that was my Saturday.
So nicely done, Jason.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. I kind of already blew my wad on this next bullet point, and that was the whole budget cuts.
Right.
Because I talked about it at the top of the show. Have you noticed the way just the economy and the delivery of services is now, so much of it is based off of monthly payments. Like everybody wants their $5, $10, $15 a month from you and it gets to the point where you look at your fucking bank account and you're like, where the fuck did all my money go?
Right.
And then you start adding up. Well, shit, 15 for Netflix, 10 for fucking Hulu, 10 for
Xbox Live.
Yeah, Xbox Live, and then this, and then the gym membership, and fucking the Old Republic, and Marvel Unlimited. And this was part of the whole budget cut that happened. And I just went line by line for like, I don't know, it was like 3 months of bank statements. And I'm just looking, I'm like, fuck, we're having a lot of shit just automatically taken out of our account every single month. So we cut a lot of that shit. We canceled our Netflix, which, is probably the first time we haven't had Netflix in over 10 years.
Wow.
As I mentioned, like a lot of the Star Wars related stuff. And I canceled my Apple Music and my Amazon Music, which I rely on those to get to and from work. So now I'm trying to find like new fucking podcasts to listen to. And, I'm like doing playlists on YouTube. And it's, but I've noticed I'm already saving a shitload of money by doing this. So it's just weird how that works.
Yeah, we kind of did the same thing. I went through and, stuff that was just, all right, we're not using this that much, like the gym membership, having, because, for me, it's like I go to more physical therapy than, I would go to a regular gym. And then plus I'm such a fucking bag of smashed assholes most of the time that I wouldn't be able to do it anyway. So that, like, hand in stone, I had a membership there, and which is great. You think, oh wow, like you get basically a massage a month.
Yeah.
Nope. I mean, I've got probably 15 banked right now because I haven't used them. Yeah. And you can't just like, all right, can I cash all those out into a fucking gift card? They'll let you do a couple, but you end up losing all this stuff. So then I extend it, then forget about it. Then they're taking money again. It's like, fuck, you just got to cut it.
Yeah.
And it is, you're exactly right. They get you with that little number. It's like, oh, it's only $5 a month. And then next thing you know, as we're talking about shit like this, as we're trying to get people to contribute to a Patreon, which is monthly, I think. So all that notwithstanding, there is a huge difference when you start doing it. I went to my iTunes account. That was a big one. Like, cause I went through and looked, I'm like, what's 99 cents a month going to? Like, where the fuck is that going?
Yeah.
And then you're going through my subscription shit and like, cancel all that shit. I don't need it. Like, I think, Apple Music is one of the more expensive ones because we had the family account. So multiple people were able to use it, but my daughter uses Spotify. And, so, we're backing off on that. I'm still going to continue to pay Prime, not necessarily for Apple Music. Prime? Yeah. But I mean, Prime is something I'm going to,
that's something we have to, you can't live without it.
No, fuck no. Especially like as we speak on Prime Day. Yeah. Right now.
But it sucks because the app or the Amazon Music doesn't come with Prime.
Yeah, that's kind of a foul on their part, I think.
You got to pay the extra like $9 a month, which that's one thing that we just canceled. So we'll figure it out. There's all that shit will balance itself out at some point because you're gonna have to get the Disney subscription. So it means and that's a no-brainer. That is an immediate, and that's one thing I told my wife when we canceled the next Netflix. It's like, okay, yes, it's gonna suck because we won't have access to some stuff, but when Disney Plus comes out, that offers up a whole nother range of
there'll be a lot of shit on there for sure.
So that's that, and then the last thing I had for my weeks was I'm starting to now have medical issues pile up, and my note in here is what? Who am I, Dave? I've been battling this shoulder injury for about a year, and I think I told you about that. I mean, I talked about it on the show. Still there. Like, it fucking sucks. It's just sort of a dull pain at this point, but it's always there. And about 3 weeks ago, I fucked up my foot, and my foot now, at my heel, it's like this massive pain anytime I put any kind of weight on it, and it kind of reverberates up to about my big toe. And I think I've narrowed it down to what it is. It's like some plantar's
fasciitis.
Yes. So I'm seeing the doctor about that, and my shoulder and my sleep problems on Wednesday. So hopefully I can get some of this shit fixed.
Yeah, man.
Because
don't be afraid to go get that shit looked at.
Yeah.
The only person that's going to be able to take care of that is you. And the military certainly doesn't give a fuck.
No, they'd rather not take care of it if they can help it.
Yeah, exactly. So God forbid if you were out of commission for any length of time.
So, but that's been my couple of weeks. So a lot of tragedy, a lot of bullshit, and a lot of budget cuts.
So I'm gonna start my week with stuff.
Okay. Oh, like goodies.
Like goodies.
Oh, what is this?
So
Thought I saw another box over there.
So the beauty of apparently I'm in a Facebook group that Jason's not, the one that I won these guys in.
Oh yeah.
In that Facebook group, right? So
you gotta add me, man.
Oh well, it's right now it's been working out because if I do get something, then I don't have to. It's a surprise for the podcast.
Surprise, motherfucker.
So
and hello, Isaac.
Before I get to that, I brought in to add to the sacred text. This is one of the things that I canceled. It was my comic book for the Star Wars comics.
Oh,
so these have to get added into the boxes.
Okay.
And then this was that Imperial insignia.
The service insignia.
It's the costume quality one. Like you'd have to use one for the if you were going to be a part of 501st or whatever.
Nice.
So that was on Touch of Modern.
Okay.
And so I had to get it. I just had to.
Yeah.
Did you look at it?
Oh, I thought it was sealed.
Yeah. You think for 1 second that I wasn't going to look at it? You're out. You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Ooh, look at that. Look at it shining in the light.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, I was
lots of Empire stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was suitably impressed when it came in.
Yeah.
So we will add this distinctiveness to its own. Anyway, so last time we taped, I brought out the
pop figures.
The pops that I won in a, basically buy a slot and then it was picking numbers.
Yes.
So while I was on vacation, another one of these popped up. And while we were gone for the 4th, I hardly looked at my phone at all.
Mm-hmm.
I posted some stuff like to my Instagram story, just kind of stuff that we were doing, but really made it a point to try and avoid social media. We weren't watching TV a whole lot,
actually enjoying your vacation.
Yeah, exactly. So
for a while.
So it was nice. It was nice to unplug. But at one point I went on Facebook and I looked and there was another one of the selection things.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, all right, well, it was 2 for 2 slots, or there was $12 per slot for this one. Okay. So I was like, all right, I'll do 2 slots.
Yeah.
So I do 2 slots, promptly forget about it.
Uh-huh.
Well, apparently it was a showdown thing. So if they picked your number on the wheel, then you would come off of it, and then it would keep rotating down until that person, you last man standing. There's a name for it. I don't know if Nick's listening.
So the last person is the one that wins.
Right. Okay. So ironically, I did this again, and the last 2 people were me and Nick, Tactical Suite.
Oh,
right.
Nice.
So guess who wins?
No kidding.
Dave wins.
That is hilarious.
This is another box full of pops.
Get the fuck out.
Another box full.
More?
Yeah, so clear us a space here.
All right. We gotta make room here.
Yeah. I don't know if Jason's stacking skills are gonna.
Is it that many?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So this first. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll do that after. So we'll start with one of the coolest ones first.
Bob A. Fett. Get the fuck out.
Yep. I will say that in this collection, out of all the winners, there was more interesting pieces in here to get my attention, as opposed to when I bid in for the other one. I was just like, there's a couple in there. There's a lot more of them here.
Ooh, the Biker Scouts.
Oh, and I will say that that Nick did appreciate for each one of these that you pulled out of the other one, you had a line for.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got.
Ooh, let him look on you with his own eyes.
Otherwise known as Unmasked Vader.
C.
3PO. No, not in this one.
Hello there. General Kenobi. It's General Grievous.
That one's actually pretty cool.
With a couple of lightsabers out.
Yeah, and it's a Walgreens exclusive.
Ooh.
We got this guy.
Governor Talkin.
Smell your foul stench when I came on board.
Yeah.
I got, I was looking at the Chewbacca, right? So we talked about it the last time.
Did you say Chewbacca?
No.
It sounded like you said.
I said Chewbacca. God damn it, Jason.
Didn't realize Dave was an anti-Semite.
No, Dave is not an anti-Semite. So Chewbacca is actually fuzzy. If you look at him, like he's got like felt on him.
Oh, no shit. Oh, you're right. You know what that reminds me of? You collected He-Man toys back in the day, right? There were a couple of guys. There was like Moss Man and one other character that had like kind of like the felt.
Battle Cat had the felt on it, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah, in certain parts, in patches.
Right.
Not like over the whole
Not the
body.
whole thing.
Yeah. So that's what that reminds me of.
We got an Imperial Death Trooper.
Oh, yeah. Because he's back in black.
Very studly. We probably need to make a third row.
You handle
all right.
presenting. I'll handle the stacking. We got good old Jen Urso, daughter of Galen Urso.
This is another good one there.
Luke in his X-Wing outfit. Fuck, man. I can't believe you won all this.
Yeah.
Are you giving any of these away too?
I'll speak to that in a minute. So here's a TIE Fighter pilot.
I'm sure you've already got this one, right?
I don't actually.
Oh, that's the First Order pilot.
It's a First Order pilot.
Which I'm sure you have the standard.
Oh, I do. I have multiples of those. We've got that guy.
Red Snaggletooth. I got nothing for this guy.
Yeah. It's.
But for you toy collectors, he's in the red outfit with the green or whatever it was. The other one.
And we got that guy.
The First Order. Oh, the Flame Trooper. You know, nothing like invading a village and burning down their houses in the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because fuck those villagers.
Last but not least.
The AT-AT driver.
I like that one. That's actually pretty good. Because I mean, honestly, from a costume perspective, it's just the.
Oh shit! It's out of frame at this point.
Yeah. That's great.
Nice.
So yeah, all of these and another Darth Maul, which.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, so.
Come on, man.
So the Darth Maul that came in the original set is still at the house. I forgot to grab it.
That's the one that you were going to give to Nick.
To Nick. But Nick actually picked this up from his tattoo guy who ran the sale.
Yeah.
So he went and picked it up, and as payment for that, he took that Maul out of there. So we'll have a Maul in studio.
Yes.
But yeah, ironically, it was the same one. But really cool because there's like Walgreens exclusive ones. You got Smuggler's Bounty exclusives.
Yeah.
So pretty cool stuff.
Man,
but yeah, and because they wanted to sell out the rest of the slots, it went for $20. They lowered it to 2 slots cost me $20. So yeah, I got
most of these cost like 20 each or something, right?
And it's so anywhere between $8 and $10, depending on which one it is. So
you got a pretty good goddamn deal.
You fucking ain't right, it is. So after the last episode, we had there was 4 Han Solos, 4 different Han Solos that were in the
4 solos for Han Solo.
I knew that was something like that's going to come. So I ended up going online and be like, you know what, we should really have the Han Solos.
Okay.
Like we should make it a point to have
to just get every Han Solo they've ever made.
So I got this guy. This is the Han Solo movie version.
Oh, okay. The Solo version of
young Han Solo.
Right. Okay.
And then we got this guy. He is the 2017 Galactic Convention exclusive Han Solo.
And it's traditional Han Solo in his original gear, vest and all.
Yep. Nice. Standing there looking threatening, holding a blaster rifle.
Yep. At what point was he holding that blaster in that outfit?
Probably in A New Hope when he was running down the hallway into where the stormtroopers were. Remember, he was like, ah! He's like, well, he has courage.
He was in his. He wasn't in like partial gear. No, he was in his clothes. Okay, yeah, that's gotta be it.
So
very nice.
Anyway, so we are definitely at some point. I'm gonna find us another shelving unit to be able to start getting these guys stacked out because
between these 2 fucking contests you've won,
there's a lot of fucking pop. There's a lot of pops in this fucking studio right now, and it's awesome. And they're definitely like. I think Kathy made a video, like she was dusting So based on the edict, right? The video is about like why there's an edict,
right?
You know, because I have one like stand-up unit, which
I gotta see this video.
I don't know where she posted it. She might have just sent it to me. I don't know, but I thought she had posted it like on Instagram or something. So I've got one like, thing I bought from Wayfair. It's got some shelves on it, and that's it. That's where the Star Wars that I keep in the house on display is on there.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting a little crowded,
right?
Because I have, the Infinity characters are on there. All my TIE pilot shit. My Legos stuff is out. Yep. The stuff that's built. So it's pretty full. And she was dusting. And she's like, she basically made a video about what a pain in the fucking ass it is to dust all these little things, which it absolutely is. And I love you, Kathy, for even attempting to dust that stuff, because dust eats away at the fucking paint and everything. So it starts to fade, even though it's like,
really,
like you think, like sun fading would like,
yeah, I've seen that a lot over
kind of like dust contamination. It can actually like discolor the figures.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where you kind of got to keep them clean.
Oh, well, I've been very bad at doing that. So.
Well, but and all your stuff's in good shape though, so it's not hasn't been too much of a hindrance. But yeah, we got a lot of pops, and it cost me very, very little.
That's awesome.
So,
but now the question is, where the fuck are we gonna put them?
Legitimately, and I'm like, I think I've been banned from competing right now, at least by Nick. He doesn't want to compete against me for any of the fucking toys that are out. Yeah. So
got all the good luck.
Yeah, we can't leave this up. He is going home with me.
Understandable.
TIE pilots are my thing.
Yeah.
So he's coming home with me. You want to leave this like this? I can't do this.
Yeah,
I can't
leave
it.
Weird. Yeah. Having to look around the pile at you.
So we'll stack these back up.
Yeah.
And we can keep out the Han Solos though. Swing. Grand Moff Tarkin. That was a great. I mean, there's a lot of unique characters in this one. I really thought that was. Pretty
like
cool.
The helmetless Vader, just fucking Boba Fett is always good.
Boba Fett.
Where?
Luke Skywalker, X-wing pilot. I thought that one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
For Rebel scum.
Mm-hmm.
Unmasked Vader, of course. AT-AT driver. Like you do. There's so many. Like, if legitimately to have all of these,
yeah, how many have they created up to this point?
I have no fucking clue. It's got to be a lot though.
Like hundreds.
Yeah, because we have like probably 30 of them in here.
Yeah,
and it's probably not even touching the collection. So, that's it for the good stuff. Staggering in a brick pattern system. I'm not an operative Mason. I am a speculative Mason.
Yeah.
So that's it for the happy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned I was on vacation, right? We went out to Lake Erie, Pennsylvania. Had a great week. It was really, really nice.
Good.
For something that we did basically on a short notice, like, instead of going to the shore or doing something else, let's do something different. So it was kind of like a quick internet search. Oh, that's looking interesting. Boom, found a place. Said, fuck it, booked it. I mean, everything was really short notice.
It was like a house on the lake kind of thing that you rented?
So this place was actually, it had like motel style, like had 5 or 6 units motel style.
Okay.
Then it also on the same property, it had an Airstream RV. And then it had a bigger RV, like a more like fucking, luxury vehicle RV type style.
Yeah.
And then had some little bungalows, and then had a couple of big housing units too. So kind of a variety of stuff on this one little property.
Sure.
It was right against the lake. I mean, you couldn't like walk into the lake from where it was at because it was kind of steep. It's all slate and shale down there. So you had to they had this really cool like walkway down, so you could go down to a swimming area. Very cool. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Because it's not as expensive. It wasn't expensive out there. It's kind of like it's wine country out there. So you have all these wineries and stuff where we're kind of staying near, and then 15 minutes driving, we're down in Erie and the inlet where you can, rent a boat, or, we went kayaking and did all this stuff. Really, really good time. And on the way out, we drove, a kind of a circuitous route and hit like the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. There's a couple overlooks that you can see.
Yeah. I saw some of the pictures from Instagram.
Yeah. So did all that stuff. Awesome. So on the way home, we're about an hour and a half into the, 7.5 hour drive, about an hour and a half into it. And I have to piss like a monkey's racehorse. So we get off the highway, get off of I-80 and pull into a Sheetz, which is a fucking Wawa knockoff.
Yeah. Real bad knockoff.
Yeah. I mean, it could be worse. There's worse knockoffs out there. 7-Eleven is still not. Sheetz is still better than 7-Eleven. I'll put it that way.
It's still no Wawa.
It's not. Pulling the Sheetz, run in. This is like Wawas are fucking busy. They're almost every Wawa around has so much traffic going in and out of it. It's insane.
Yeah.
So picture the busiest Wawa you've ever been to and triple that volume, because you're right off of I-80. Everyone's traveling back and forth on vacation for the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
We're traveling on a Friday to head back. That way, in theory, the idea was that we'd have, Saturday and Sunday just to kind of relax before we went back to work.
Sure.
So pulling the Sheetz, blah, 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 go take a leak, buy a cookie and a soda, back in the car, back out of the parking spot. Again, busiest Sheetz ever. Back out of the parking spot, put it in the drive, click, click, stop. Fucking car refuses to move. Like, not only does it refuse to move, but it also will not go into neutral. So for the next hour and 45 minutes, while we were waiting for AAA, I had every swinging dick in fucking Pennsylvania stopping by my car window to ask me, hey, can you put it in neutral? I'll help you push it. No, it won't move, but thank you. I'm trying to fucking be polite, trying not to murder everybody.
Yeah. Is it an automatic or?
It's an automatic.
Okay.
Whatever fucking happened, I don't know. The reality is the bitch didn't move. So my car was a static display in the Sheetz parking lot with the fucking kayaks on top, the whole bit. Yeah. And everyone is driving now. Like the cars that I was blocking in that spot, I had given them enough room so they could get out.
Yeah.
But the problem was other people kept pulling into those spots, even though my fucking car's in the middle of, like, obviously not moving with the four-ways on. Right. People are still like getting in and out of there because, again, busiest fucking place ever.
Yeah. Holy shit.
So tow truck driver finally shows, and I'd been on the phone with like 4 dealerships and trying to find, all right, where can I go to get this looked at? Everybody's got a fucking month and a half. Wait, a month and a half before they even would look at it.
Holy fuck.
Within 50 miles of where I was. So I found a dealer in Clarion, Pennsylvania that we can give you an appointment for Thursday. Like, I'll take it because that's fucking better, a month and a half better than most people are able to tell me. So we get in a tow truck. It's like 30 some odd miles the other direction. So we're going back west,
right?
With the fucking car. We dump it at this dealership, then have it like just barely have enough time to get a rental car from a place that's in town that's closing.
Oh damn!
Fucking so get a rental car, and after all this fucking shenanigans. Oh, by the way, when we're trying to load the thing onto the tow truck in the Sheetz parking lot, fucking thunderstorm comes rolling through, like giant balls of fucking water. Are like, the kind of raindrops, like as soon as it hits you, you're like, a third of the way soaked.
Yep.
Yeah. So this fucking thunderstorm comes in, lightning is hitting like all around, like legitimately within 100 yards of us, like lightning's hitting, and we're trying to get this thing. And so finally we gave up. I sat in the car waiting for this thing, soaked. Finally get the fucking thing on there. We had to pile in, this is Kathy, Kate, and me, pile in with the fucking tow truck people. Nice, really nice people. Yeah. Solid earth people. But it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So we're driving, get to the place, deal with the whole thing. And the tow truck people tried to warn me about this dealership.
Oh, really?
they said, outsiders, whatever. I'm like, you know what, that seems fine. Cause I talked to the service manager and, tell him the deal. I had a bunch of beer in the car that we had left over from the vacation. I gave it to them and the other service guys. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're really grease the skids here. Get taken care of. Cool. Did the rental car thing, fucking spent. Why is it it was $184 of a relocation fee.
Just a fee
for a one-way rental. It cost me $184 fucking dollars, plus $60 for the car for the day.
And this was a major rental car,
Enterprise.
Okay.
So just because I was dropping it off, I'm like, well, fuck, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So we finally get home. And unfortunately, it was a bad end to what was otherwise a very nice week, very relaxing.
Yeah.
But still, the blessing is that it happened on the tail end of the vacation as opposed to the beginning.
Right.
Otherwise, there'd be dead bodies. There's no way I would have been able to hold it together. So fast forward to Monday. Okay. Not this Monday, last Monday.
A week ago.
I got a fucking phone call. It's some guy. His name is Dave. He's the general manager of this Clarion, right? Clarion Ford. And he's got an attitude straight away with me.
Wow.
Yeah. I got potentially a transmission job, $5,000 job in his parking lot, and he's giving me grief. Like legit. Like starts talking about the warranty, how it's not my name. I got to fix that. I'm like, all right, I get it. I'll call the guy, the dealer up where I bought the car, and I'll get that squared away. No problem. And he kept going on and on about it. And I'm like, why? Why are you so fucking Can we talk about what's up with my car? Like, why are you calling me?
Yeah. Aren't you his customer?
Yeah. So he's like, well, I got to make sure I get paid. I'm like, well, why don't you tell me how much it's going to cost?
Yeah. Like
you keep going on about the warranty. It has nothing to fucking do with what's going on with the goddamn car.
Yeah.
The guy at some point, like he got me fired up to the point where like I was basically like, you don't know who the fuck you're dealing with, dude. Like this was a complete shit situation. Your dealership was the one that had the best timing, because he was trying to tell me that he wasn't going to be able to see my car on that Thursday. It's like, what happened to my fucking appointment?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, there's overruns. I'm like, not my problem. What happened to my appointment? Like, that's why my car is there. Because your people said that I had a fucking appointment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about overruns or anything else. You are the general manager. I don't even know why I'm talking to you.
Right.
Like, is there an owner that I can talk to? He's like, no, I'm the general manager. Like, just a fucking raging douchebag.
Wow.
So, and I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like, I'm 6 hours away from my fucking car right now. You're calling me and obviously giving me shit to the point where I would just say, fuck it, I'm taking my car. Right. That was his intent. His intent was to make me fucking get that thing off of his lot, because apparently, like, the tow truck drivers were trying to warn me, the guy doesn't like out of towners. Okay. Right? Jersey plates in his fucking Clarion fucking Pennsylvania Ford dealership in the middle of fucking Pennsylvania. The guy went through like, well, I'm just trying to be, honest, and I don't lead people on. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, you keep complaining about, oh, I got to make sure I get paid. Well, how much is it going to fucking cost? Yeah. And he's like, well, the diagnostic is $90. I'm like, okay, I approve you to do the diagnostics for $90. Is there anything else? I was like, because honestly, if there was going to be this much of an issue, your people, like, for the timing of it, then the people who checked me in on Friday should have let me know.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, like, and because I stood my ground, he backed off a little bit. But the whole fucking thing gave me a bad taste in my mouth. Like, this is fucking bullshit. The guy doesn't want to take my fucking money. The car is stuck there. I can't do anything about it. So the car, I bought the car from my cousin who owns a dealership in Milton. Unfortunately, Milton is 2.5 hours away. It's 154 miles, and I have AAA, which takes me to 100 miles. So at the time, like, this was the best option. Well, talking to, Spangler Motors is the place. And, talking to Matt, he was like, what can we do? What can we work out for options wise? Because it just wasn't, like, none of that shit was jiving. Like the estimate I got, they finally ran the diagnostics, and the guy made it sound like oh, the fucking thing, like the oil, the transmission fluid is like black. There's metal all over the place. I'm like, how the fuck? Mind you, no indication, zero, no indication there was anything wrong with the transmission. I drove it from New Jersey up to New York, like, because we went to Niagara Falls and back during the vacation.
Yeah. So
I'm driving all over the fucking place. And you mean to tell me that entire time going up and down mountains, doing all this fucking stop and go driving, not once, no transmission slipping, no noise, no nothing. All of a sudden just fucking blows up. Like, no, I'm sorry. So I'm like, fuck this. We gotta go get it.
Yeah.
We gotta get it. I gotta get the match. So fast forward to yesterday. We left the house at 8:20 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get home till 11 o'clock last night. We drove all the way out there, waited for the tow truck, which happened to be the same driver. It was him and his wife.
That's funny.
And oh, by the way, apparently if you call AAA and you're like in a parking lot or something, they won't fucking come and take it out of a parking lot. They're real douchebags about it. Like, well, we don't go to lots and pull cars off of it.
Wow.
It's like, well, would it be easier if it was on the side of the fucking road? It's like, well, is it? I'm like, it can be. Yeah. I'll drag that bitch into the fucking side of the road. Like, this shit is happening today.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful day yesterday. It was such a waste to fucking waste all, like, it was a 14, all said and done, a 16-hour duty day for, going out there, driving, waiting for the tow truck driver, getting in there, driving to the fucking dealership, getting it dropped off, then getting back on the highway to fucking come home. It was a long ass fucking day.
Yeah. And
I feel like I've been going nonstop. Like, the Saturday night we went to the Phillies game. It was an event with the lodge. I didn't get home till 1 a.m. So I got 3 hours of sleep. And you talk about not being able to sleep. Like, I ran out of one of my medications, and my fucking sleep is it's complete shit right now.
Yeah. No wonder you're so fucking tired. Holy hell.
Yeah, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm so tired of driving. So tired of it. Hence why my daughter dropped me off today.
Yeah.
So much fucking driving, and I still, the car's still 3 hours away now as opposed to 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, at some point when the car's ready, I'm going to have to go back out there, get the car, come back here, and then a week, I'm hoping that it gets done within the next couple of weeks, and then I have to turn right back around because we're moving Kate into State College. So let's go right back out there. All right, so I've seen a lot of fucking Midwestern Pennsylvania here in the next week. So what this leads me on to what I alluded to in the text. We're going to have a little bit of a fuck you too. I just have to give a big fuck you to that goddamn general manager at that Ford dealer.
Yeah, sounds like a real fucking
like
douche.
Who the fuck are you to talk to me like I'm a fucking idiot?
Yeah,
I get it. How many? He told me he was the general manager so many fucking times. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you're the Pope at some point. Like, you are supposed to be helping me out here.
Yeah,
not trying to I don't know how to deal with outsiders. And then he quoted me like $2,000 over, like there was no we could put a rebuild in and it'll cost this much. We could do this. And no, here's how much it is. Oh, and to be a pal, he was going to give me a fucking 10% discount for being military. Ooh. I wanted to take that fucking discount and shove it up his ass sideways. But just the fact, the way he was talking to me, what fired me up the most about it is like, who else has he talked to like this? Who is he bullied into fucking taking a shit deal, or who is he fucking ripped off? Yeah. Because to be honest, like, I'm glad I never actually met the man, because I probably would have spit in his fucking face. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Yeah. Like, why don't you go over here and take the shotgun out of the fucking backseat of your truck and shove it up your ass and fucking go ahead and blow your goddamn brains out? Because you don't treat people like that. Yeah. And you're in an industry where you're in sales. Like, who are you selling these fucking cars to? Like the incestuous fucking people that are just within fucking 10 miles of your dealership?
Yeah, probably all the simpletons in that area.
Yeah, and there's nice people out there, don't get me wrong. But you get something like that where overtly it's like, well, he's not from around here, so we're going to go ahead and dude, fuck you. Like, you don't know where I'm from. You don't know what my story is. You see Jersey plates and you're going to make an assumption. What if it was fucking Delaware plates? What if it was New York plates? I mean, probably more used to seeing New York because it's closer.
Sure.
But it's like, you don't know what my story is. and finally he understands I'm a fucking veteran, and oh, your tone's going to change. Like, yeah, I'm stationed in New Jersey. Like that's what that is. Yeah. Like, while you're jumping to fucking assumptions and you don't want my money, right? And you think for one fucking second after that shit show that I'm gonna even let you touch the goddamn car? No, fuck you. It's people like that really. It's people like that make it so difficult to fucking interact with the public. It really is, because you run into these people, these self-important, like, somebody told him he was important. His mom patted his ass for way too fucking long. He probably breastfed till he was fucking 11 years old. and his mom / aunt / fucking sister fucking, it poisoned the gene pool. But I'm so glad. I felt so much better that my fucking car was off of his lot.
Yeah.
Like, and and then act like he's cutting me a fucking deal. Like, so fuck you, dude. Just fucking fall on an H tree and die. Some more fuck yous. The goddamn oh shit. I had a whole pile.
AAA?
No, AAA was fine. Aside from giving me shit about the lot, and then the same guy who dropped it off ended up picking it up, so it wasn't even a problem anyway. I mean, there's just there's a long list of fuck yous, but here's the one I really want to talk about, and somebody actually mentioned in the chat, fucking this Storm Area 51 shit.
Oh my god.
Fuck you to all you self-absorbed pieces of shit that think that I don't care how many millions of people you get to sign a fucking petition. What gives you the right? What gives you the right to say that you are above the law and that you're going to go ahead and do something just because you want to do it? What type of lawless society do people think that we live in? Is it because of the immigration shit? Is it because that it's the same mentality where, yes, there is laws, there's Title United States Code that dictates how you're supposed to go to a port of entry to claim asylum and do all these things. And instead, you got some fucking pompous shitbag that is going to call them detention centers and do all this fucking shit. Meanwhile, I mean, my dad was Customs and Border Protection, right? So saying that the ICE people are running concentration camps, shit like that, this isn't fucking Gitmo, okay? Right. This isn't the enemy. We know what it was like being in a shelter with overcrowding and everything else. Like, when your resources are limited and all you have left is your fucking humanity. And now that these people in government and all these social media fucking activists are shitting all over you, like, what's the incentive to do their fucking job? These are the same assholes that went without pay and were still doing their fucking job. And now you got you people out there that are fucking all like, oh, this has to stop. Fuck you. You're not above the law. I don't care if you're the mayor of fucking New York City or anybody else. Does not give you the right to fucking ignore the law. Period. Dot. Because then what do you become? Open borders, whatever. I'm an isolationist, right? I'd rather see we should have a line of troops across every fucking border.
Yeah, especially the northern border. Fuck Canada.
Sorry, Tony.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, you want to control that? Like, control it with the military. Like, bring us out of fucking some of these other fuckhole places that we shouldn't be, that we're giving money to countries needlessly.
Yeah.
Let's bring those fucking troops back. Put 10th Mountain on the fucking border. Let's see how many people decide they're going to cross it then. But is it the same mentality? Like, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and storm Area 51. What the fuck do you think, like, use of deadly force is authorized is about?
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, Jason and I have spent most of our lives on fucking Air Force bases. These fucking security forces guys, all they want to do is get their gun off.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, they would put you in the fucking concrete for walking across a painted red line on the deck.
We know people. We work with people who, had fucking their faces down on the concrete with guns pointed at the back of their heads because they went onto the flight line without a badge. Yeah, it's called breaking red. Yeah. Or their badge wasn't visible to the cop. Yeah.
Like, these are the same people and others probably contractors who are even more want to get their gun off, right? You're going to take 1 million people. I can tell you what's going to happen right now. And this is the travesty of the whole fucking thing. The ignorance to the fact that they think that it's okay. We're going to make this movement via Facebook and everything else. We're going to get people to sign up, and everybody's kind of making a joke out of it. It's not a joke. The same thing that you're planning on doing by signing a fucking petition with 1 million fucking people on it to storm Area 51, that's the same thing that's happened at the southern border. It's the same fucking thing. And I guess that makes it okay. I guess that makes it all right, because those laws are for other people.
Right.
They're not for them.
Right.
So, and God forbid that first wave of people, which let's face it, logistically, if you're trying to fucking, do your mission planning via fucking Google Earth for your little fucking march on Area 51, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
And honestly, what the fuck do you think you're going to find in there?
Right.
Like, I mean, truly, what the fuck do you think you're going to find? Like, it's all well and good till the first motherfucker gets shot in the face.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I have 2 things to say about this. First of all, it does seem more of a joke to me, because there's no way you're going to get more than like a dozen people to actually go through with this. And the idiots that do, yeah, they're going to get their asses fucking rolled up. And so,
but here's the thing. So Stonebleed's bringing up a point in the chat that Dave knows from Area 51 was just stoked. It was a joke. It was. It started out as a joke.
Yeah.
1 million fucking people don't buy into a fucking joke. There are so many lemmings in this fucking country right now.
Right, yeah,
there's so many people that want to just sign up and say, you know what? My version of America is the best version, and the laws that don't abide to that, I'm just going to go ahead and ignore. Yeah. And they're going to take this as, you know what? This is an opportunity for us to say, fuck you.
People do that with religion too. It's like, I love this religion. I'm just going to ignore these couple of pieces of it. But anyway.
Yeah, the difference in a fucking religion is, for the most part, you're not going to have bullets flying at you.
That is true.
Right? You don't. We're career military people. We understand these rules, like rules of engagement. Like, people that have no interaction with the military at all don't have any fucking clue, which was most of this goddamn country. Doesn't have a fucking clue what we do, what we're doing in the world. All they care about is their little fucking bubble and this little soapboxes that they want to fucking stand on. Yeah, I'm ready.
2 episodes we talked about that before.
So
the bubbles.
These motherfuckers, like, the rules don't apply to them. They're so self fucking important. And they think like it's going to be cops, right? They think, oh, we're going to video the cop beating up somebody, and then the court of public opinion is going to fry them. What fucking security forces guy who has used a deadly force authorized? That means that if you're infiltrating a certain area with a certain security classification, which is most of Area 51, they could shoot on sight.
Yeah.
Shoot on sight. Even like Jason and I in military with the proper identification, if we don't check in appropriately, you're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Like, that is a real fucking thing, because you have to protect our nation's secrets with force. Otherwise, you have fucking idiots like this.
Yeah.
And God forbid, if even a dozen people decide they're going to fucking show up at the gate and one person gets hurt, one person, what the fuck do you think the idiots in this country are going to do? What the fuck? This isn't even about fucking the right or left or anything else. Like, the majority of the people are going to be some sort of fucking uproar because somebody overstepped their bounds, whatever. Like, fuck you. My rules of engagement in the fucking military are, you're a threat, you die. This is why I couldn't be a cop. You're a threat, I'm going to kill you. In fact, I still think like that. If you're a threat to me, then it's not about like leveling the fucking playing field and using the appropriate levels of force. No, fuck you, you're dead. Because it's going to be, if it's me and you, it's going to be you. Right. You're going to fucking die bleeding.
Yeah.
Because fuck you. Or I'm going to die trying. That's just the way it's going to be. But again, the lemmings in this fucking country, it can be a joke, but if you have 50 people, right? And, oh yeah, this is a joke. There's going to be 15 people that believe it to be real. Yeah. Because that's where we are. Yeah, it's whether it's a Star Wars thing, like, okay, we're going to put something out on fucking comicbook.com as like, oh, this is what episode 9 plotline release is going to be, right? Then you'll have fucking idiots be like, oh my God, it's the worst ever, and this person shouldn't exist, and that person should fucking this, and Mary Sue this, and drop that. They take that same fucking thing that in a fictional fucking movie, but they apply it to real life now. Yeah. There's no distinction. Logic, common sense, all that fucking shit is gone. Yeah. Gone. People can't fucking think for themselves. And shit like this Area 51 thing and how like just normal human interactions are fucking, it's over. It's fucking over. We're in a whole new realm now. So go, please. Go fucking storm Area 51. Go do some dumb shit, right? Because I will applaud the fucking security forces guys who, within their fucking rights to defend that PL asset, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And as they should, because what else? Like, this is like the immigration thing is spilling over into like something that should be a joke, and it's not. To me, it's all starting to coagulate. It's like, this is not a lawless society. We are where we are as a society because of laws.
Yeah.
Because of repercussions. If you do something illegal, there should be a fucking repercussion. It shouldn't be like, well, we don't think that. That doesn't work for me. Yeah. So that's go ahead and break that law. Yeah, Fuck you.
Well, yeah, and look at every society and country that's had lawlessness as sort of the de facto not rule of law, and see how far they've progressed over, decades, and just see how great they're living. So
yeah, this has been building up for a little bit with that shit, and it's gotten to a point where I'm a blue-blooded American citizen who raised my right hand and put my life on the line for decades for this country. And I live in the shadow of the fucking Liberty Bell, where the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Yeah.
I understand history. I'm a student of history, as we all should be, as opposed to being ignorant to it and only applying what works for fucking you. That's it. I'm off my soapbox now.
All right, I like it.
I have to pee.
Yeah, me too. So this is going to be a great place for us to take a break before we get into our main topic. So that being said, we will be right back after this word from our sponsors. And yes, Tom, I was thinking about Independence Day the whole time Dave was talking about storming Area 51. All I could think about was like Will Smith and his caravan rolling up to.
Well, that's the thing. We were talking about that at work today. Like, do people realize that it's like 25 miles from a major highway is like the closest road to Area 51 to even get near it?
Yeah.
So you're going to have, 1 million people form up, like, all right, pull off on the side of the fucking road, and then everybody's going to march over there.
Yeah.
Where they're going to drive their RVs across the fucking, sagebrush and all the other creosote bushes and all that fucking bullshit.
That'll be good for your engines.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, they won't even reheat at all. And then some idiot will die because they're, just doing something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, fucking idiots.
Now, me personally, if I was a security forces guy at an Area 51, I'd just get in a Hummer. And if these people actually just try to get on foot and just kind of get in a line and go, I just fucking go at them from the side and just fucking mow them all down. Just, forget the guns. Guns are too quick and stupid. I want to just mow down 100 people in a fucking Hummer. That would be fun. Why is it so quiet in here? So anyway, what do we got going on in the chat? Kathy sent Dave a text. Isaac's still here. Stone Bleeds is here. Mr. Jensen, Mr. Scott. I just heard Dave fart. Bear traps. Ooh, that'd be ruthless. Yeah. So yeah, Isaac knows. He knows what's up. All right, my turn.
Oh, motherfuckers.
So you missed it. My idea for if I was a security forces guy, I'd just get in a Hummer and I'd just fucking mow these people down.
No, little birds. Put 2 or 3 little birds up, gunships, right? You just have those helicopters just flying low, like the Lethal Weapon movie, because everyone's gonna have to relate it to a fucking movie, right? So oh wow, this seems ominous. You keep them real low so you get the big dust cloud behind them, and you just fucking hover in front of this line of idiots and just fucking roll some fucking 40 cal, just right across the fucking front of them. It's like, there's your line, bitches. Go ahead, cross it. These dumb motherfuckers. God, there's some just have some fucking common sense. I mean, honestly, people sign shit not knowing what they're signing. They'll get all wrapped up in something, and then fucking next thing you know, some dumb shit's gonna happen. And then, God forbid, if something did happen, and they blame somebody from the Air Force for doing their fucking job, they're going to ostracize that kid. I don't trust my Air Force to fucking actually stand by them. I don't. Maybe it's just because I'm retired and I got shit on a little bit at the end, but fuck me. This litigious society that we live in and all this self-entitlement, I don't feel like, even though we're following our rules of engagement, since those rules, people don't like those rules, then who's going to defend it? You got to have laws. You got to have rules. I mean, that's period. Dot. You don't have to like them. You don't like them, go ahead, get elected, or vote for something. And when you do get elected, go in there and try and make change. But you know what? Change isn't going to happen just because you're the loudest person there. You're going to actually have to do something. You're going to have to create a movement. And creating a movement based on fear and fucking rhetoric is a recipe for fucking disaster.
Can we just talk about how fucking retarded our president is?
There's a lot of retards out there besides the commander in chief.
Oh,
he did some dumb shit today, like more dumb than usual. Just like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, yeah, like over the weekend, like the dumb shit he was saying. It's like, come on, man.
He's not helping.
Yeah,
he's not helping. But the problem is, there should be people. If you're gonna do some shit like that, it's that mentality of like, all right, I'm just gonna do something stupid and obnoxious, and I could either try and engage that person like head on, or I could just fucking sit back and like, you're making yourself look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So go ahead, keep doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over here doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but in the meantime, you're gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah. And
like you're using. Why the fuck? I said this before. Why the fuck is Twitter the thing?
Yeah.
Why is Twitter like? Why are we dictating fucking foreign policy over Twitter? How the fuck did that happen? Like, Jesus H. Christ. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, I own Facebook stock, so hooray.
Yeah.
I mean, hooray for Twitter for being relevant.
Yeah.
Because you can't go for fucking an hour watching any news broadcast without the word Twitter being said at least once.
Yeah.
At least once.
Yeah. And I mean, really, what good has it really brought? Because all I ever hear about when it comes to stories about Twitter is, oh, so-and-so deleted a tweet yesterday because he said something that was misconstrued, and now he's getting fired from this job, and he's apologizing, and it's like, what? Why?
And I, you know what I don't want to hear? I don't want to hear like, well, look, tell your kids, fucking tell people this shit that you say on social media is going to get looked at. Yeah. Whether you're going for a security clearance or you're just trying to get a job at fucking Wawa, they're going to look at your shit. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to embarrass that company, they're not going to hire you. Yeah. If you said some dumb shit on Twitter that could be construed as racist or anything like that, then it's your fucking fault, man. Yep, which is why you can full well keep your opinions to yourself. And then guess what? Those are your opinions. You're allowed to have them. You're even allowed to talk about it. Here we are talking about it. Yeah. Hooray. Fucking that's our First Amendment rights about, right? Yeah. Peaceful protests, all that other shit. But you take to Twitter and you decide you're going to say something that can be construed by somebody as being racist, or just be racist because you're a fucking idiot, right? Guess what? It's there forever. All it takes is one person to screenshot that shit, or even not. We talked about it before. All the propaganda posters, like somebody, Michelle Obama holding up a fucking piece of paper that was probably about school lunches or some shit, and it's a blank piece of paper. That propaganda machine can put anything they want on top of that. Mm-hmm. And what are you gonna do? Like, that's not what was really on there. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, but that's what was seen. Yep. So see it. The fucking be smarter. I appreciate this audience, and I appreciate the fact that we get to do this shit. And even though we're only going to talk about Star Wars for probably
20 minutes,
25 minutes of it, the reality is that great, we have this medium, and I hope we use it responsibly, even if we do curse a lot. But that's part of the entertainment value. But I'm telling you, for the love of God, if you're out there and you're vocal on social media and politics and everything else, remember that shit, you have to be, whatever you post, you have to be willing to stand behind it.
And that's why I haven't had a Twitter in over a year and a half. That's why I don't post anything political on my Instagram, because I do want a job in 2 years, and I don't want them to go back and say, oh, we see this on Twitter. You like this comment by Ben Shapiro, so clearly you're a Nazi.
Yeah, exactly. Guilty by association.
Yeah.
Not innocent until proven guilty, which is what our justice system is founded on. You're as soon as you're guilty in a court of public opinion, then you're guilty.
Yeah. So I don't need that shit in my life. Anyway, are we ready to?
Yeah, I should not watch fucking the news. Yeah. I really shouldn't.
I used to be a huge news junkie for the longest time. Yeah. Like I would constantly be following it. And it just got to the point where it was just like it was eating me away from the inside, like a flesh-eating bacteria.
Yeah,
and that's like I gotta stop. And like when I stopped looking at the news every day, I felt so much better.
Yeah, I started putting it on in the background for background noise in the office, especially because I'm in there by myself so much when Nick's not coming in to bullshit with me.
Yeah.
And I need noise. I need something in the background, and unfortunately, the noise has been fucking politics and everything else, and I can't deal. I really can't. And this isn't a political thing. This is just a be fucking smart, like, and understand that regardless of where you stand on politics, the law is the law.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Anyway,
silence,
silence, and then we'll get back to the. None of this is going to be in the audio version, by the way. So this is exclusive for the YouTube audience.
I kill
you. Yeah. All right. So give me 30 seconds of silence, and then we'll roll back into it. And we're back. So, if you're only listening to this on the audio version, you're truly missing out because during that pee break, Dave and I got off on some more rants. And that is exclusive for the YouTube audience. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're really missing out on some extra content. So do it. As our Lord and Savior, Emperor Palpatine would say.
Do it.
So...
Isaac, I'm glad I was able to provide you with your favorite rant.
Yeah. So anyway, get back to Star Wars. Like this is a Star Wars.
Oh, podcast. It is a Star Wars podcast.
Believe it or not. So we had mentioned at the top of the show that there really wasn't much news, with one exception, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on the YouTube or not, but we had an announcement of sorts. Is it even a Black Series figure, or is it just like a? They're advertising it as like a 1/6 scale.
No, 1/6. Black Series are. It's not 1/6. Hang on. Let's look.
I don't know. Anyway, it looks like the highest quality of Black Series figure you could imagine.
And well, no, that's because that's a different vendor. That's not Hasbro.
Oh, it's not.
I don't think so. There's a lot of vendors out there.
Merchandising.
Where the real money from the movie is made. That doesn't say.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's not.
That aspect is irrelevant to the discussion. And what it is...
You're an aspect.
I am. This is a new figure that is from Rise of Skywalker. It was confirmed that this is another trooper, and it is the Sith Trooper. So much to discuss just about the name alone, and we're going to get there. But before we get to the discussion of the name, I just want to look at the aesthetics real quick. Just the visual that you get from this guy. Because first of all, he's like blood fucking red.
Yeah.
Red and black in a stormtrooper. He looks like
the Imperial Royal Guard, like red.
Yeah, but he's a stormtrooper. And it looks, for the most part, like a First Order stormtrooper. Except if you look at the helmet, it's got a lot of that First Order stuff to it. But
the angle in the jawline's the same.
But like with the eyes and the way it kind of connects to the nose and mouth, it looks like the clone troopers from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So it looks kind of like a hybrid in design of the two, of the First Order and then that Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, plus like the Boba Fett. My face is a big letter T.
Yeah.
It's got like the just a little bit of a aspect there, like in between the cheeks of the faceplate.
Right. And obviously you have to look at those similarities between the original clone trooper armor and the Mandalorians.
It's a big letter T.
Yeah. It's not a coincidence that the clone trooper armor is very similar to that of the design of the Mandos. Right. So, and this is kind of going along with that. Fucking Super sweet looking though. This red and black trooper, like I jizzed a little bit in my pants when I saw this. It was
Well, we're probably gonna get into more detail on it, but my initial reaction was not only was it cool, like wow, look how cool it is. It's like this is probably the first time when we've actually referenced in the movie canonically the Sith as having like its own like representation, right?
Yes.
Not talking about like the Sith Lord. We're not talking about somebody, a Force user. We're just talking about a fucking trooper.
Right, because that's one thing where some people may not even have a distinction. Like your more casual viewers, if they hear Sith, they just think, dark cloak, red lightsaber.
Right. Exactly.
And if you go back to the old Sith Empire.
Well, think about Bane. Think about the Bane books, right? Yeah. Where you have all these Sith, they signed up for the Sith army.
Yeah, because they're part of the Sith Empire.
Right.
Is what they were. So, I mean, I guess we're hopping right into the Sith discussion because we're going to kind of talk about a little bit the Sith and where they are in current canon and how it relates to some of the stuff in Legends material and where this Sith Trooper might actually fit into that. So I don't know where you want to start. If you want to just start kind of like going back to like what we know about the Sith in current canon versus So a lot of this actually stems from an episode of the Clone Wars, which you've referred to here on the podcast. I don't know if you actually watched it or not, but it was actually the final.
Oh, yeah. Somebody actually had brought it up in the cantina.
Yeah, because it's the final episode of the Clone Wars animated series up until this new season starts next year, whenever. But it was the final episode, and it involved Yoda going to the Sith homeworld, which in Legends material, we knew that as Korriban.
Right.
That's where you start when you're a fucking Sith on in the Old Republic, referenced many times in the Knights of the Old Republic games, referenced in some of the original comics from the early 90s. Korriban was the home of the Sith. Now, if we're looking at Legends material, the way that all manifested itself is Korriban was actually the home of the pure blood Sith race.
Right.
Red skin, kind of fucking shit hanging off of their face, kind of looking people. And those were the Sith species. And what happened was a group of defected dark Jedis made their way out here because Korriban was on like the far reaches of the Outer Rim, like way the fuck out in the middle of nowhere. And these dark Jedi get there. These pure blood Sith see them and they start fucking worshiping them. The fucking dark Jedi start fucking the Sith and they start creating these Sith babies. And that is how the Sith Empire got started.
Yeah. And there's references to, what were we just reading? We were just,
Bane or
no, it wasn't in Bane. It was,
something current canon.
Fuck yeah. Damn it. Guys, help me out in the chat. What were we just fucking reading?
Dooku? Dooku was the last book that we covered.
No, you know what? It was Bane. Never mind. Okay. Because there was it was a pure blooded Sith who had like basically set up a meet with what's her nuts? Bane's
Zana.
Zana.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. All that shit's starting to blend together.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was in Bane. But so yeah, like the Sith, the pure blood Sith, some of them were just squirrely fucking.
Yeah, they were just people. They didn't have force powers.
Right.
Like they just, when these dark Jedi got to Korriban and they saw their powers, they started worshiping them as gods.
Yeah.
Ended up starting breeding together.
Lost Tribe of the Sith, right? Isn't that the book series?
That was a book series that kind of had it was a whole group of Sith that colonized some fucking planet and then lost their ability to actually leave that planet, from what I understand.
Yeah,
and they were there for centuries.
Yeah, that's right. That wasn't Korriban. Never mind. Fuck, all that shit's starting to blend together.
Yeah, Korriban was the homeworld. Korriban's the place where when you start a Sith character in the Old Republic, that's where you start. You're going through like the old ruins. Right. It looks like fucking you're in Arizona or New Mexico, like a rocky, like deserty looking place. So anyway, that's all Legends material. Now, a majority of this has actually survived into current canon, and a lot of this came about in this Clone Wars episode, where Yoda goes to, now what it is called is Moraband, which the whole story behind that goes is George Lucas himself, when he was producing the Clone Wars, didn't like the name Korriban. He's like, I think it sounds better as Moraband. So they changed it.
Fuck. God damn it, George.
Yeah.
Sometimes just
but
you need to leave things well if not.
Yeah, but in that episode, Korriban it's the exact same. Moraband is the exact same as you would envision Korriban to be, with the rocky hills and the deserty shit, and again, it looks like you're in the mountains in Arizona. And it talks about the Sith tombs, just like we see in the Legends material. And Yoda comes across a projection of Darth Bane. Also in that episode, if my research is correct, because I haven't seen it because we haven't finished the fucking Clone Wars, I know.
Yes.
Don't fucking say anything.
We know. They already said it in the chat.
Of course.
We know.
And I'm sure I know who the main culprit of that was. But yeah, in that episode, I guess they also confirmed that Darth Bane, who projects himself to Yoda on Moraband, is the creator of the Rule of Two. So just like in Legends material, he recognized the Sith Order was fucked. It's getting too watered down. All these motherfuckers are doing nothing but backstabbing each other. They're not passing on all this knowledge. They're not becoming more powerful. They're becoming weaker in their practices. So I'm going to stop this. Now, they don't specify how he stopped it. Obviously, this was over the course of a 23-minute episode of the show.
Right.
But it is acknowledged that Bane was the creator of the Rule of Two. We see Moraband as Korriban. Now, as I was reading the Wikipedia page regarding this, somewhere it's alluded to, I think in current canon, that maybe Moraband had a different name, like the planet was named something different in the past, but only in current times know it.
Yeah, so. It like right in the beginning of the Wikipedia thing is it says Moraband, known in antiquity as Korriban.
Right.
Was an outer rim planet that was home to ancient Sith. So they're basically saying, like, yeah, sometime back in the day, it used to be called Korriban. However,
right, which and canonically that would make sense, because one thing that we've noticed in current canon is that the Jedi have made it a point to either hide the presence or hide knowledge of the Sith. Collect every Sith artifact that they can and fucking store it away, keep it out of the public's hands.
Yeah, God forbid that we need to hide any evidence of this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people would think that, oh no, there's bad people out there.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
I could
go back to your drinks.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see them changing the name of the planet so that people, if anybody hears whispers of this old, Empire's homeworld, oh no, this is Moraband. I don't know what this Korriban is that you're talking about. So. Go back to your drinks, Jedi business.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we stand right now. So we know Bane exists. We know there was a Sith homeworld. We know there was a Sith Empire because, I can't remember what book it was. I think it was one of the Aftermath books, maybe the third Aftermath book. There was a very, very, very brief mention of the Sith Empire in there, of the old Sith Empire from, the era of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I remember I lost my shit when I read that. I posted like a screenshot on the fucking group.
Probably, yeah.
I said something whenever we reviewed whatever book it was. And so we know that slowly but surely they're letting this information trickle in. Now, with the release of this fucking Sith Trooper, where are the Sith at this point? I know one theory that some people have is that maybe this is a third faction in this whole, future galactic war that's happening. This, resistance versus the First Order. Because when he was first announced, when it was revealed that this was the Sith Trooper, which makes me think, okay, is there some Sith Empire still out there in the unknown regions? Is this the thing that Thrawn, that the Chiss were warning about? Like, oh, we know that there's even bigger and badder stuff deep into the unknown regions that you might want to fucking prep for. Maybe this is what they were talking about. But we know Kylo Ren is not a follower of the Sith, as far as we know.
Right.
Especially after The Last Jedi, when he's basically saying, let the Sith die. Nowhere in Force Awakens or Rise of Skywalker did they mention any kind of Sith stuff whatsoever. Between Snoke, Kylo Ren, none of it. Like, none of them mentioned that they were following the Sith teachings, Rule of Two, any of that shit. So it seemed to me like they were kind of like their own little rogue, dark side using faction thing.
Well, that's the most intriguing. I think I said it before. If I didn't, then fuck it.
Yeah.
But that's the intriguing part to me. It's like we have, where does this this Sith, like, so we know Palpatine's going to have some sort of appearance, right?
Yes.
We know that they're going to have a Sith Trooper, and I just happened to be looking at Walt Disney World News today. It's talking about Khan, and it is a Black Series Trooper.
Okay.
Early release edition, $32. It's badass, and it comes with a bunch of different weapons too.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, like 4 or 6 different weapons.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
So, and it also said that there's a pop. There is an actual pop number 3.
Oh, that's real. Okay, because I thought that was a doctored image.
It's the Comic-Con limited edition, so I'm sure there'll be something to come out of it. Anyway, no, the fact that the Sith are going to be acknowledged as having a fighting force, like, is the First Order something that was born from the dark side, but doesn't actually, is it a distractor? Like, hey, look at the First Order stuff, because meanwhile, the Sith, like, I'm Palpatine. I'm basically ruler. They look at me as the ruler of the Sith. He could be on Morabon, or he could be on another planet where he's got Sith followers, and be like, okay, I'm building up an army, and I'll step side by side with the First Order, or I'll annihilate them while I take over the rest of the galaxy. Because, quite frankly, we look at where the Resistance is right now, right? The Resistance is basically fucked.
Yeah.
It is fucked.
Yeah, they're like fucking 12 people at this point.
Yeah, it's enough to fit in the fucking the Millennium Falcon all at the same time, So, however powerful Rey is, whatever's going on with Kylo Ren, it almost seems like it's secondary now, because you're going to start wondering, how does Kylo Ren factor, like you had mentioned, like, they're not necessarily following the Sith teachings. They're kind of going their own direction with a lot of this. Like, Kylo is a follower of Darth Vader, not of the Sith Lord, Darth Vader. So does there come a time when it's going to be Kylo Ren either is forced to join Palpatine, and then they go together? Like, all right, you're now my assistant. And how does Palpatine, is this an ethereal version of Palpatine? Is this a ghost version? Like, that question. It leads into all those millions and millions of things. And any theories that people had before about Palpatine's involvement or the Sith or anything else, now you have something tangible.
Yeah,
like we have the Sith fucking Trooper now. It's like fucking Sith.
Yeah, it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what is this implications here? What is it, the implications for, like you said, like for Snoke, for what the First Order is just in general? We have an idea from reading the Aftermath books and getting from where we were the story. Like, what if Thrawn shows up? Yeah. What if fucking Thrawn's out there building the fucking Sith army?
That would be fucking amazing
for fucking Palpatine. Like, he gets sucked in by the fucking the space squids or whatever.
Yeah,
sucked out to fucking space, ends up back in the Chiss Ascendancy, and fucking, all right, this is here's the Red Troopers. Let's fucking go. Like, we're representing the pure Sith line.
Yeah,
and that's what you get with the red.
Right, and I wonder. Maybe this is a bigger part of Palpatine's contingency, because we've talked about this before. That's what the First Order was. Remnants of the Empire, they fucking destroy everything else that they're leaving behind, go off into the unknown regions, rebuild, come back and wreck some shit. Or is the real fucking army still out there, and the First Order was just like the initial wave?
But I was starting to say it, and I kind of sidetracked myself. But the First Order, if it is, like, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, they got pretty much everything in hand, right? Because there's no resistance force.
Right.
So
yeah, the resistance is 2 ships.
Yeah. So why have a Sith Trooper? Like, what is the purpose of this? We had our, elite Praetorian guards that were guarding Snoke, were also in the red, which led you to believe that there was, like, involvement there with the dark side and the Sith, because we know Palpatine's guards were the red.
Yeah.
So, is this, from a Star Wars perspective, are we following along the same track where it's like, okay, we've got red, they're going to be fucking protecting something, so look, we're starved for fucking, we're starved for Star Wars shit right now, right? Because
we've gotten so little, even though we have a trailer, it's still been so little.
How many times have you watched the trailer since we watched it?
Oh, at least 20 times. Yeah.
I mean, like, in the past 2 weeks, how many times you watched it?
Probably only once or twice.
I haven't watched it in at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where I'm at saturation now.
Yeah.
Because you only can start postulating, but so much based on that little tiny fucking fleck of information that they got. And so obviously we're fucking starving here for any information. So this is a great springboard into like, all right, let's talk about possibilities for what's going to happen for episode 9. But honestly, let's talk about possibilities for just this universe. You have Sith troopers. Like now this is, is this the end of the Skywalker saga? Is it the springboard for the greater, like it's the Sith Empire versus the Republic again? Like, do we go full circle?
Right. So are you saying more like, okay, yeah, the Skywalker saga is ending, but that was a small part of this bigger story.
That saga is the end of the Republic, and the last gasp of the Republic before the Sith now comes back full circle, and bringing balance to the Force with the Republic being so strong without a true like enemy. Like now it's like, oh no, here's your true enemy, and then you're going to go fight that.
Yeah. Well, and I guess the question is like, are these Sith troopers part of the First Order, or are they a separate thing? Yeah. Right.
Oh man, I don't know whether to call Brady out on this or not.
What happened?
So I'm going to ask him. Hang on, I'm derailing it right now. Do you realize we're taping? We are taping. Big Lovin' just
like he texted you?
Well, no, it was a message in the Galactic Caravan group, and Salsky's like, no shit, what the hell? Yeah, I guess they didn't get notified. Like, we are live.
Fucking YouTube, man.
Live now.
Oh, okay.
Can I talk about? Nope, I'm eating dinner with the Cox. Nope, I'm eating dinner with the Cox.
Wow.
Sex points for Brady?
It's a nice thing to say about your family.
I know, right?
Can we go on a little sidebar real quick?
It's off of this sidebar or a different sidebar? Okay.
Because, well, you mentioned the YouTube thing, right? And people not getting notifications. Anybody who's been paying attention knows that YouTube's been going through some very drastic changes, and it's come in phases. It started with like the original adpocalypse that happened a couple years ago, and it's constantly, shit keeps changing, and it's all about the fucking advertisers. Ultimately, this boils down to Google making sure that they, only put ads on, ad-friendly content. So guys like us who come on here and say fuck, cunt, pussy, fuck, we never get ads on our YouTube videos, which is fine because that's not our intent anyway.
Right.
But so in a roundabout way, the shit's been going down, and they just went through another wave like within the last month with the whole Steven Crowder thing, which was fucking bullshit. But anyway, and so I'm listening to, because I was talking about how I canceled my Apple Music and all that.
Right.
I'm listening to one of my YouTube playlists because on YouTube, I, put a bunch of like music videos on there and I just run them as a playlist. And that's how I can listen to music for free still on a playlist in my car. I started it. I'm listening. Fucking Lady Gaga song comes on. Bad Romance, if you're familiar with Lady Gaga, right?
Okay.
I've had this video saved in this playlist for fucking 6 years or however long this video's been out.
Right.
It's been the same every time, except when I listened to it today. Every time she used the word bitch in the song. Exact same video that I've always had saved in this fucking playlist for years. Now it's like not bleeped out, but like
spaced out.
The sound where you don't hear it. So yeah, I'm a freak baby, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Is this where we've come on YouTube? Is now where artists are having to fucking censor the word bitch so that they can, ensure that they get ads on their fucking YouTube video? And I don't know who to fault more for that. I don't know if I fault YouTube for that or the fucking artist for caving in. people like Lady Gaga and fucking, you know, my girl Taylor Swift and all these people, they get like fucking hundreds of millions of views on their fucking videos. So obviously they're raking in the fucking ad revenue if they can get it. But you know,
this goes to the overlying issue with how society is right now, and and it's not just in America. With this level of censoring, I mean, think about the memes that are banned in Europe, you know, in certain areas of Europe where people just can't.
Stupid. You Europeans are fucking idiots.
Like, you have to. There has to. What happened to building around a society that could actually like be free thinking and be able to like decide things for themselves?
Yeah, and
like
regulate themselves on. At the same time.
Like, okay, here's content. I have the appropriate moral values to make sure that I don't turn into a fucking raving lunatic because I heard the word bitch on a fucking a podcast,
right,
or a fucking music video.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, I think words now are more popular or more powerful than they ever were. You know, sticks and stones better break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Right? I think that is completely inverted. Yeah. I think nobody's afraid of being hurt by anything except for words. Yeah. And those words hurt. And if people feel hurt because the word bitch is in there, or they take exception to a certain thing, then, well, we don't want to lose even one group of people if we leave this in there. We're not going to take a stand. And the irony of the whole thing is like you get these organizations that preach about First Amendment and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Where you are a media outlet. If you're YouTube, right, you are a media outlet. Where is your enforcement? The FCC is not regulating you.
No,
there's no
internet, man.
Yeah, we live in a society where you can like choose to go on the internet and see this video. And if you're really upset about it because you think some young kid's going to hear the word bitch, like, okay, then sure. Like, direct to a censored version, or say you must be over 18, or you remember back in the day when like the parental advisory label came onto the fucking like a fucking disc or on a tape, like the parental advisor label, and I was like, oh well, that's going to keep kids from hearing this shit.
No, I wouldn't. Those are the things I wanted to buy.
You have fucking like Big Lovin', who's all about, like, I think he was wearing a mashup shirt either today or yesterday that had like the it looked like the parental advisory, like an NWO like cover, but it was like Star Wars related. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. All right, so no one here doesn't state your life. Let's get back to the original sidebar. So fuck. Oh no, we can't look there anymore. The sign fell. Yeah. So speaking of the YouTube, people not going to get notified. So Big Lovin' and Don Solsky did not get notified that we were alive, and they're upset, as they should be.
Yeah,
not our fault. Sorry, dude.
Blame YouTube.
Yeah, blame YouTube. So we're if you're listening now, then perfect. But so what the message I got, which distracted me so much to get to the point where we are now, is that he says, Brady puts that, I just found out I'm into Asians.
Nice.
And which I'm like, just completely out of context. It popped up on my watch. So I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Right. And then, and I guess there's the picture that was posted at like 4:30 or something. I'm just seeing now. That has, yes. Okay. I see it. Yeah. There we go. That's what he's talking about. That picture.
Yeah.
So makes way more sense in context. However, like, yes, thank you, Brady, for throwing us completely off the rails, and you're not even listening,
I know,
which
right?
is the best. Yeah. But randomly get a message. I just found out I'm into Asians. Well, okay. Does your wife know? I mean, like, and meanwhile, he's sitting eating dinner with his family. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Brady.
Oh man, I don't know how you can come back from that. So let's get back into
Sith Troopers.
Yeah. So, like, legitimately, what do you think this Sith Trooper represents? Is it just like going to be some elite unit within the First Order? Are we talking a separate faction? Are we talking like the Emperor, like Palpatine, the resurrected Palpatine's fucking personal guard? Like, what do you think?
I think that it's going to be my initial take,
Mhm.
there's going to be a separate army.
Okay.
And it'll be a separate, like, either division or whatever of just Sith troopers that have, they could be clones even.
But still part of the First Order.
Not for outside of the First Order. I think
Okay.
they're going to be two completely different things.
Okay.
I think that we have yet to see the depth of what Palpatine's ultimate plans were,
right,
to get to the point
and everything else.
And again, with it, if it wasn't for the trailer, then I wouldn't even put Palpatine anywhere near this episode.
Right, yeah.
I would not even close. But now that he's in play and now there's a Sith Trooper in play, it really leads me to believe that the First Order has been running rampant without any real direction. Like Snoke was a puppet, wherever the fuck he came from. And that what really has been going on is these Sith have been gathering. Somebody has been doing it.
Yeah.
You know, either some clone of Palpatine or somebody else that Palpatine has taken under his wing, something like that. But I don't think it's going to be. You don't go from First Order to Sith Trooper,
right?
Like, yeah, I don't make that jump. You have the First Order. They got all the kids. Like we read novels about this, right?
That's true.
So they got this group of kids, and they're like, okay, we're going to train kids from a young age and make them into troopers. Maybe you get one guy that peels off and ends up ruining everything, you know, otherwise known as FN2187, right? Yep. So maybe not the best idea, you know, but maybe that was just plan C. Maybe plan D is what really is going on. Because where's the rest of it? Remember I think back to, I think it was Aftermath. It was Aftermath. Aftermath or Bloodline? I don't remember.
We'll say it. Maybe I will.
So when you had the group of basically the Imperial shred out, right? So you had basically as the fighting was ending, after Return of the Jedi, right? So you had the Imperials were starting to group together again, like having secret meetings and shit like that.
Yeah, that was the Aftermath series.
So you get that glimpse in the Aftermath, but you can't. It's really tough to make the jump from Aftermath to me. You know, is it a straight leap into what the First Order is?
Well, I mean, there's obviously big gaps in there that we haven't had filled.
Right.
But, I mean, we know...
That's what she said?
Oh, yeah. I mean, between the Shattered Empire comics, the Aftermath books, the Phasma novel, the Battlefront 2 single-player campaign, we have a pretty good fucking idea what happened as far as Palpatine's contingency plan goes. The only piece that we're really missing is what happened after they got out to the unknown regions up to the point where they picked up Phasma on her planet, because by the time they picked her up, they were already starting to become pretty well established in the unknown regions as far as like building up their army and everything else. She came way later in the process. So it's, what is that leadership structure? What and how... I guess, how is Palpatine's plan? Like, what is the final piece of it?
Yeah, I feel like knowing that Palpatine has foreseen so much of this. So he creates the contingency plans, right? I really, based on taking the story that we already know and trying to like extrapolate, like in the chat, they're talking about, maybe it's like, 6 or so of the Sith troopers, more like a guard force for maybe. For who, though?
Yeah.
For who? It's not going to be for Ren.
Well, for Palpatine.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
But but they're not troopers. They're guards. They're the Imperial guards. They're Praetorian guards. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be a guard force. I think this is an actual fighting force. It's not the Death Troopers.
Right.
Right. That was a much smaller units, but they were part of the bigger fighting force. So now I think when you have a Sith Trooper, I think you make assumptions about having a Sith army. And I think the Sith army ultimately is what's going to be at play here. And maybe you turn the First Order against the Sith army that's been created. Yeah, and maybe Ren up against Palpatine, because ultimately Palpatine's the one who killed his grandfather, right? So all this conflict and everything else, maybe Ren is the one who turns with Rey, and they turn the First Order forces against, who knows? I mean, it could be any million of things, but
that seems the most logical thing, honestly. Like, the Sith roll in, Palpatine rolls in with his fucking real army that even, you know, dwarfs the First Order, and then the First Order has got to be like, hey, Resistance, you guys want to help us with the...
Yeah, because the First Order is still like, it's basically the troopers that they're getting, they're still pulling kids out of it. They're still in like this repatriation program, pulling orphans and shit like that out of the Outer Rim. Like, it's not like when the Empire was in full swing where they were taking, you know, conscripted service, and you can go and volunteer and like, you know, basically you join in the military. Like, you can join and become a stormtrooper or whatever. I don't think the First Order is at that level. I think they have whoever they have, and then that's what they've got. Whereas there could be a cloning processor out there where they've been cloning Sith troopers. So get back to what worked. You know, what was successful for Palpatine, right? Order 66.
Yeah.
Like, that fucking worked like a champ. You eliminated damn near all the fucking Jedi, except for a couple troublemakers, which ended up biting you in the ass later.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's like, oh, you know, I thought I could really impress my friends with, you know, the stormtroopers, but fuck it, I'll go back to the well and we'll just...
Yeah, and hey, go with what works.
Yeah.
So who knows? It opens a fucking huge... Old Paps is going to impregnate Rey with Vader 2.0.
Nice. Well...
Or do you think Disney's going to allow insertion in a movie? Like, do you think that's going to happen?
Never.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
Oh my god. I will say this though. If this Sith Trooper just turns out to be some little mini squad that we see for 10 minutes of the movie, they get bitched out by Rey or whatever, I'm gonna be really fucking upset. Go
out like bitches like plasma. Yeah, plasma.
Yeah.
Plasma.
But yeah, it's going to be a real shame if they get squandered like a lot of the other things in this sequel trilogy that have been, you know, squandered up to this point. Phasma being one of them. So hopefully...
Yeah, I don't know. Is the first thing you released for the movie... Well, I mean, Phasma didn't come out like this. It wasn't like, here's your Black Series fucking figure.
And again...
Doesn't it look like he's trying to pound it in? Like, go ahead, pound it in.
Right there. Again, the Disney machine, they know what the fuck they're doing, right? They wouldn't release this with the title Sith Trooper if they didn't know
there's a reason
exactly what they were doing.
It's in the plot line.
Yeah. So, I mean, marketing people, this is their fucking job. It's like, what can we do? How can we piecemeal this thing out to get these fucking nerds excited and come to see our movie while also not giving away too much of the overall plot?
So... Bronco Fett brings up, we're talking about Phasma. He brings up, is she dead?
Of course she is.
Obviously not. She's not dead. She's probably the one that's been training these Sith troopers, to be honest.
Really? So she falls into the blackness of space.
Not space. She fell into like this flame pit. Right?
With nothing but space underneath it. You could see it was a hole in the fucking ship.
She's wearing a fucking spacesuit.
The fucking face thing was ripped off. You could see her eyeball. You think that's gonna... It's not a fucking...
She's alive. She's alive, and we've got money on it.
That money is mine.
The Cardinal's in charge of them. It's good.
Well, hey, the Cardinal did have the red...
the red analog to Phasma's... Who knows?
Yeah.
But...
And yeah, it's all speculation at this point, but it is fun to speculate sometimes when you get this little tidbit. And... really, because of this, that's why I wanted to have that conversation. Old canon or old legends versus new canon. What isn't canon, and just kind of get us caught up as we get ready for the Rise of Skywalker, which I would imagine we're going to get Thrawn next week. Well, I know we're going to get Thrawn next week. We're going to have about a week for that to settle. And then first week of August, I think the Last Jedi promotion machine is going to start. It's going to start slow. It's going to be little trickles here and there. Just like a tiny drip, like that one night you decided not to use a condom on that whore. And what?
And then you have a foot problem.
Yeah. So, but yeah, just little drips at first, but then it's going to steamroll. And by September, we're going to be in all fucking in.
I hope so.
Rise of Skywalker promo.
I hope so.
And then October, we get a trailer. Bob's your uncle.
Speaking of, coming up in August, we got to finalize our fantasy football
Yes.
We did get some interaction within the cantina
Yep.
for people that were committed. So we're going to look at numbers and do stuff like that. We need to sit down and have a good like planning session. Maybe at a lunch. We'll do a lunch or something.
Yeah.
And
we're both on the base.
Yeah.
Every day almost. So
yeah, fuck yeah.
I'm off Friday. So don't call me on Friday.
Oh, I'll call you. I'll call you just because I know how much you love answering your phone.
I don't like answering.
No, he doesn't. You know, and he answers it like he's annoyed too. Hello.
Well, I just do that with you because it's funny.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So,
but that's it. I think that's gonna end the episode. We probably could have gone deeper. That's what she
that is what she said.
But man, we're just rolling tonight. But I think we're gonna call it good. We filled the time with lots of rants and personal stories, and you know what? That's what you get when you listen to the All Things Star Wars podcast. All things, and then some Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't, you know, we weren't clear when we made the title, but it's all things. Oh, and then Star Wars.
Yeah. So I think it would have been everything Star Wars, but everything Star Wars was taken.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So
it is what it is. We'll do whatever the fuck we want.
Right. Next week,
we're independent and free thinking and not lemmings.
Yeah. Next week, I don't know what we're doing, but the week after for sure is Thrawn.
Yep.
Without question. I will probably finish the audiobook in about 3 days.
Okay.
That's typically how long it takes me to do the Thrawn books.
All right.
But you better fucking believe.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Hells to the yeah.
So with that being said, we'll figure it out for next week, if there even is a next week, because of the backlog with the audio episodes. We may not get another episode until we review Thrawn. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But until then, thank you everybody for listening and watching. And
Giant glass.
Next time, Dave, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
That's good.
Okay, now what do I click? Peace out, bitches.
Indeed. All right, start exporting now.
Are
We're
you
actually still live. We're just doing the audio portion now. I know. And hey, Solsky finally joined us. Oh, he's been in the chat for a while. Looks like.
Hey, just for the record, we'll I think right before we tape, we should put something in. We knew last week we were going to do Monday.
Yeah.
I just don't think we told anybody.
Nobody else knew.
Usually it's
yeah.
We decided last week that we were going to tape today, so that's our bad for not putting it out in the cantina.
Yeah.
So at a minimum, we'll at least get something out day of.
Yeah, especially knowing the way YouTube is now.
Yeah, you can't rely on them fucking notifying you guys, which is unfortunate.
Yes, because they are actively censoring anybody who's naughty and not sending notifications and
we're naughty.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So many comments.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hot in here, dude.
Yeah. It gets there. It's not insulated, which is bad in summer and winter. So, but in summer, like if you, I guess I can. All right, I'm gonna kill the video.
Yeah, but in the summertime.
Yeah, we're just shooting the shit about the weather now. All right, peace, motherfuckers. Peace. Catch you next time.